What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. This is Narik Chase, and with me I have Miss Lakeisha.
Hi.
And in this episode, which is I believe the 17th episode of the Breaker Debates, we are going to discuss the best and worst shark movies. And we say shark movies, they can have total focus on sharks being antagonists or, partially sharks, as long as they have a pretty huge presence in the movie. And this video was inspired from us going to go see The Shallows. So we will be bringing that review up for you guys after this. But having said that, let's get on with the list of best to worst. So, in fact, let's start off with The Shallows. Just give a quick impression on. Do you think it was a good movie?
It was okay. They could have done a little bit more, I think, but I think it was all right as being a shark movie.
She said she thought it was okay. She thought it was all right. That's what, about kind of like a 3 out of 5 or somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was pretty good, and I thought it was pretty realistic for what it was. Even though there were some moments that was like, I gotta call BS on that, but it still was actually a pretty darn good, not only like survival movie, but a good shark movie, in my opinion. Now we all know there's a whole host of just shark movies out there. Some good, some completely terrible. In fact, let's correct that. Most completely terrible. Thank you, Sci-Fi Channel, for that. But let's just sit here and just talk about sharks. What are your when you see a shark movie? What do you want to see in that?
Well, sharks. They say I've actually never seen one in real life, but they say sharks are a killing machine. So that's what I would like to see. Sharks eating people, tearing people up, hunting, whatever they do. I would like to see that in the movie. If it's some like a special shark, I don't know, maybe a little backstory behind that. Like this movie we just got through finished watching, Avalanche Shark.
Oh my Lord, that was a terrible
What
movie.
did you think about the movie, Narik?
That movie was terrible. And honestly, I wrote down some notes, and I would say the person who wrote the movie probably should have got their ass kicked. But, to each their own, I still say he should have got their ass kicked. That was a terrible movie. Not only was the characters terrible, the story, script, dialogue, the acting, almost every part of the movie was terrible. I think the best performance that the movie had going for it was the snow. But it was an interesting premise about sharks and ice and snow and all of that. That was an interesting premise. I think
it might have been interesting, but you have to, be a little realistic. Sharks swimming through the snow underground, no water, nowhere.
I could deal with that. I could deal with that if you actually had a good, solid reason as to why. Think about the movie Tremors. Going off topic, but they actually had a solid reason as to how they moved underground and all of that.
Yeah.
If they could make the shark movie to where they had a good reason as to how the sharks moved underground and all that, then cool. Like I said, it's an interesting premise. Sharks going through snow and ice and all that, but the movie just sucked. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I've seen this Sharknado series, and for quite a while, I didn't want to watch because I heard that I didn't like the premise. I thought it was stupid. It's still a stupid premise, but I ain't gonna lie. I have got to admit, I thoroughly enjoyed those movies. They're hilarious.
Somebody do. They keep making more of them. I mean, I just don't, understand.
It's this type of movies that you just don't take seriously.
Okay, but come on, they could have put a little bit more up in there. You got
it's literally
sharks
made
in a tornado. Nothing else but sharks is coming out of the tornado.
This is one of the few series I can give them a pass because they don't try to be serious. It's just straight up just entertainment.
Okay. If it's straight up entertainment, then okay.
It's about eye candy and having fun and spoofs and parodies and all of that stuff, which it does a great job. I know in the Sharknado 3 movie, I did the whole sharks in space and all of that stuff. I was like, this bullshit, but it was funny, and it helped to, add to that so-called je ne sais quoi that these movies have. And if I use that terminology wrong, oh well. It just sounded really cool.
How about Deep Blue Sea?
Now, Deep Blue Sea is actually one of the better ones. There are moments in it where one thing I pretty much had against the movie was the sharks are too damn smart. They were doing stuff they shouldn't have.
Well, that's how they was making them. Well, they was making them for that, but like the woman said, in turns they got smarter.
But your intelligence is only as good as what you experience. And the sharks are doing stuff they hadn't experienced before.
Yeah, like swimming backwards.
No, that I didn't mind.
No, sharks can't swim backwards.
No, that I didn't mind. Like the whole thing where they was like trying to flood the whole facility to get out. Like, how would they know to do that? I don't even think a normal person would try to do that. Like how, like the whole crash in the helicopter, which I think that was just kind of like convenience and not really them planning to do it. But if you sit there and watch the movie, you see that the sharks do like really smart stuff, and it's like, okay, how does y'all know how to do that? You know what I'm saying? Go back to my question I asked you earlier about a good shark movie. The sharks don't have to be over the top or monstrous or anything, but if you give them a good reason as to why the people have to sit here and deal with the sharks, The Shallows was a good reason. Actually, the first Jaws was a good reason. I've heard, what's the movie, Open Water? I've even heard of the movie The Reef. Those two actually had pretty good premises for movies, and they actually gave you solid reasons why the people had to deal with these sharks. It wasn't supernatural. It wasn't over the top.
Yeah, I get that.
And that's just all I, think about.
Okay, yeah. I'll give it that. It's okay. The Sharknado films, like you say, were for entertainment. You haven't seen Ghost Shark, have you? Ghost Shark was actually a pretty messed up movie because, you couldn't do anything near water and then the shark was gonna come and eat you. It was gonna even a puddle, a small puddle, came out of the puddle and it ate you. So you couldn't really go anywhere. Then it was raining. So that was just like a whole bunch of deaths right there. It was a pretty messed up movie, and the only way to really get rid of it was to go find its bones and do something with the bones, which the bones has been in the cave for one thing. How did the shark get into that narrow cave? I do not know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's what they had to do: get the bones and do something with it, but not before several more people got eaten.
So when it comes to which one do you like more out of three categories? Do you like the supernatural? Do you like the monstrous, or do you like the I can't think what the third category is. The monstrous shark movies will be like the megalodon, the mega shark, or something like that. You have the supernatural, which would be kind of like what we just watched in the ghost shark, and I cannot remember what the third category was for the life of me. I just thought about it. But like, what would you like to see out of that? Which one do you prefer?
I would prefer the sharks to be more realistic, as they would, in reality. But there are some people who want to make the shark movies just for entertainment. That's fine, but that's what I like.
Oh, I sorry, I just thought about the third one, and like a science one. And the science one would be something like two-headed shark, sharktopus, something like that. Like, would you want like the science mutation, the natural monstrous one, or the supernatural one?
mean, I'm not saying that I wouldn't, watch it because I have watched Sharktopus. It was all right, but being realistic is good too. But hey, I mean, um, we're not on alligators, but I have seen a really good supernatural alligator movie. I think it's the best one ever, but I'm not gonna get into that. But yeah, I mean, I would watch the science and the supernatural. It just like the one we just got finished saying. Let it be worth something. Don't let it be bad.
Yeah, because I would like to see. I would like to appreciate a monstrous one. Because if you're gonna be fiction, I want it to be as realistic out of the bunch as you can. And the monstrous one most likely is gonna be the more realistic one. Like the science one per se, it's like Deep Blue Sea. This kind of science too, because they did make them smarter. A monstrous one would be something like Jaws. Like I can get with Jaws. The Shallows movie we just seen. It's a monstrous force, but it's not. It's not unkillable. Like it can't be hurt. But I think the monstrous one would be a pretty good example for me. It's just a realism. We can take it, make it fiction, but make it realistic and fine. I'm okay with that. Not the whole invincible monster.
Right, like can't be killed.
Yeah, shooting it with bullets don't do it. But if you go, I don't know, stab it with some sacred knife or something like that, I can't get behind that. That'll piss me off. One thing I didn't like about it's a whole host. I almost hated the whole movie. Avalanche Shark. One thing I didn't like about the sharks, honestly, was the fact that they just struck so randomly. Even when there was a whole bunch of people in one area, when people made noise, they didn't go for those people. They always went for like people that, it didn't make any sense. Or like, what was the one sequence where it was like the main characters was all in one spot when the sheriff got fired?
Yeah.
And then when they all left, the one guy was whatever he was doing to the snow, and he just got snatched on the ground. It's like, well, you could have snatched somebody to the ground at any point. Why you wait till everybody leaves to do it to him?
Maybe it was about movement. It couldn't have been all about movement.
Yeah, because there was so many different things moving, so many people moving, but they didn't go after them.
And then the thing, about the movie was why set it in the mountains if it's a shark. Okay, if it's a sacred mountain and the shamans, they say, was protecting it or whatever, done something to it, they could have had a more character associated with the mountains instead of a shark.
And even that chick, that one Indian chick girl, which you figure something is important about it because it keeps showing it, but you don't really see it to the end. And even with that, they don't really give you no closure.
I really don't think she was. I don't think she was like important. She just set up the totem poles again, which were weak, as you say, and they got knocked back down again, and they came back.
All right. So what about setting? Would you agree that the best possible way for to have a very effective shark movie is for it to be in water, regardless of regardless if it was a science freak, a freak of nature, regardless if it was a monster shark, regardless if it was supernatural, that the open water is the best place for that.
Yes, because when you think of shark, you think of water. You can't think of snow. Why would sharks be in the snow? Just like you said, the movie Sand Sharks. I ain't never seen that, but.
And I ain't gonna lie, I do like that reference. Dudes like he didn't want to go to Florida because there was sand sharks.
Yeah,
that was hilarious.
So I mean,
oh man,
because the shark is a big fish. Take a fish out of water, what does it do?
It just dies.
Okay, so sharks need to be associated with water, any kind of water. Well, sharks are most associated with salt water, but the movie I was telling you about, Red Water, is about a freshwater shark, the bull shark. They said that's the only one that can swim in freshwater, and he was killing these people based on a local tribe. They say the shark was a spirit but it was manifested in physical form, so it was a real shark.
Oh my gosh! I just thought about. Remember we was talking about the movie earlier, Shark Night.
Yeah,
I did see that,
and I did see.
Oh, I remember that. I do remember that movie.
That movie.
It was good.
It was about the teenagers.
Yeah, it was. It was like cool. I give it to it. The movie was, the story and all that, writing and all that was kind of crappy, but the movie itself was actually, pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah, the only thing I did not like. Okay, the dude who got his arm.
Yeah.
Was it both his arm and his leg, or just his arm?
It was just his arm, I think.
I mean, he sacrificed himself. It's kind of stupid because his girlfriend got killed, and he sacrificed himself at the end. All I gotta say is he went down like a G. He didn't scream.
I can honestly say the reason why I liked it, some of it, I like the way how the sharks, how I like the idea, the setting and the idea. It's kind of like in this swampy area. They was stuck there. They was trying to leave. They were doing all these different things. Like the one part where the guy was on, what is that? The jet ski thing.
Yeah, but they wasn't actually stuck there. It was a cabin or something there. They was out by the beach, and then
then all this stuff started jumping off or whatever.
Then they got kidnapped because they was hunting them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, some people were hunting them, and they were actually sending out the sharks. They would go.
I thought the sharks were actually there.
They would go to places and get sharks, and then bring them back and dump them in the water.
I don't remember. I just remember sharks went ham on that movie. Like the dude was on the jet ski running from a shark, and somehow a shark jumped at him from the front, and then knocked him off the jet ski. Ate him it bit him at the same time, knocked him off the jet ski. I was like, how did the shark do that? Like the one shark jumped in the tree and got the dude out the tree.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, wasn't the dude that lost his arm? Wasn't it like the black guy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's like, come on. And yeah, they came on all right, too. So that one's, okay, I do remember that one. In fact, let me ask you something. Shark films. What about the shark makes it so terrifying in the movie?
The size and probably the teeth. The mouth, the teeth. Yeah. I mean, you take that out, otherwise it's like a big fish.
Yeah, but you think about it. Humans can swim, but that's not our prime element. We can swim a little bit and everything.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
You got a creature that can swim and maneuver through water. What, 3 times faster? And then, of course, sharks are able to smell a hell of a lot better than we can, especially in the water. Mm-hmm. And then they got, of course, their teeth, their big open maws, and which can rip to shreds any person.
Which is exactly why Avalanche Shark made no sense.
So we agree. That's kind of what the terrifying aspect of it. Yeah. And I think also that what makes sharks so terrifying in the film is when you're having to deal with a shark. Most times in movies, you're not just dealing with the shark. You're dealing with water. Mm-hmm. And not because shark is in its element when it's in water.
Right. You're in their house.
Yeah, you're in their territory, and there's only so much that you can do.
Cause you can't stay underwater like that. So you can't go in an underwater cave and hide.
You can't outmaneuver it, and if you did, you could only probably do it for so long. Mm-hmm. So it's got speed, it's got strength, mobility, and it's adapted perfectly for the water environment. And it's like, we're adapted for the land, even though we have creatures on land, or that pretty much would be the equivalent of sharks. But as we said, we're in their home, we're going by their rules, and we're at total disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's that. Now, we was talking about. Let's go up to your top. Like, if you could make a top 5 list of the best shark movies, what would they be?
Well, top. It would be Jaws, Deep Blue Sea. Um, mm, I'm thinking.
I, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Let me come up with, I think, my top 5 best ones will be.
Paul.
Okay. Of course, we got Jaws.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's Deep Blue Sea. You know what? I'm not even gonna go with Jaws first. I'm not gonna go with Jaws first. My first, the one that I like the most so far, is my number one. It's got to be The Shallows. The second one after that be Deep Blue Sea.
Open Water.
Okay, we got Jaws. So that you got 3. I got 3. I've seen parts of Open Water, and I like the realism Open Water too, especially these people being stuck out in the middle of the water.
Yeah, I mean, like literally, like stuck out. I mean, that's scary. You see no land, nowhere.
You're just out there in the
You're
open.
You're just food.
Yeah. Another reason I would not be going out there into the water. Not like that. That's crazy. I don't know who do it. Y'all crazy. Don't do it. It's crazy. People that do that are crazy. Let's see. What else? I would have to end up saying I've seen some shark movies, but not like that. But outside of Jaws, Deep Blue Sea, and The Shallows, which would probably be my top 3. You know what? I would even say Shark Night. I'll even include Shark Night in.
I would have to put Redwater as my number 4. And then Shark Night as my number 5, because in the movie they were going to get the sharks and dumping them in the water. So yeah, that was pretty realistic. That was realistic, so it could happen.
Oh, so your top 5 are Jaws, Shark Night, Deep Blue Sea.
No, Jaws, Deep Blue Sea.
Jaws, Deep Blue Sea.
Open Water. Redwater, and
Water.
then Shark Night.
Okay, and mine would be The Shallows, Deep Blue Sea, Jaws, Shark Night, and it's gonna be a random selection from Sharknado because all 3 of them are ridiculous, and I might well just go ahead and just put all 3 of them on the. I can't really decide which one. They all were funny as hell though. I'm also wondering, is this the sand sharks? Look at that. They got the sand shark picture looking like Tremors. That's how Tremors look.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
I really don't see. I would like to see that movie, but I really don't see how. Okay, what have we talked about?
Okay, we've given out our tops, what we thought about shark, what we want to see in shark films, the different categories: supernatural, freak of nature. We got the monstrous.
Okay, if you could have a shark, if you could make a shark movie, and you needed your shark versus what? Your shark can be supernatural, scientific, or just a regular shark, but it would to fight something. What would you have it fight, and what kind of shark would yours be?
Me personally, I would say a great white, but we see those so much already. So I'd just probably throw down with a hammerhead just because it looks different. And if I were to have it pitted against some other type of creature, it most likely would probably be like, I guess a octopus or something, or a squid. I mean, I know they got a movie called what was it, Megalodon or Mega Shark versus a giant octopus or whatever. But I really can't think of any other creature where it would be like, you know, a challenge like that, or even a threat like that outside of an octopus.
Okay, before I answer mine, I need to, because I'm not very good on shark types, but
Or a tiger. Yeah. Hammerhead or a tiger.
a tiger shark is very big. You said a tiger?
Tiger shark?
Tiger shark, okay.
Yeah. I didn't mean like a regular tiger.
I'm like, okay, tiger?
Tiger gonna get toe up. It really don't want like it. Really, I mean, it's called a sand shark, but don't swim through the sand.
Okay.
How many sharks do you mostly hear about? You hear about hammerheads, tiger sharks, and great whites. That's about it.
Yeah.
That's about it. I would like to. There was a movie about some kind of shark hybrid. I cannot remember the name of it for the life of me. That's what the movie called, Shark Hybrid. I don't know, but it was a hammerhead shark, I think, or a great white perhaps. But anyways,
okay, mine would have to be now, okay, before I, say this, just think in mind, be realistic when I say this. Okay, we know great whites. Great whites, they're big. And I would have to say a great white against a mega dolphin.
A mega dolphin.
A mega dolphin.
Now, would the mega dolphin be a good mega dolphin or a bad mega dolphin?
Well, it depends. What would the great white be?
But I don't know. It just depends. Or what if they both bad?
I mean, if they're both bad, let's just say they're fighting for territory or fighting this for something. That's what my pick would be. The mega dolphin, it would be pretty badass.
How did the dolphin get mega?
How do sharks get mega?
They're naturally big.
Yeah, but okay, they are naturally big. But I'm just saying. I said it can be scientific.
I'm messing with you. Don't send the sharks on me, okay? I seen what they can do. That's crazy. No, that's an interesting premise. It is. It'll probably play out one of those bad sci-fi movies.
I mean, sharks can jump, out of water, pretty high, but dolphins can too. So, kind of.
I didn't know sharks could do that. I know they do that thing where they come up and they eat whatever the hell.
Okay, maybe I guess it's what I've seen on movies, but I think that would be a pretty good battlefield in water. The great white versus the mega dolphin.
All right, so you said that those were your five, probably the best ones so far. Mm-hmm. And I said my 5 so far. Mm-hmm. Okay, what are your top 5 worst ones?
Let's see. I hate to say it, but I would have to say. Okay, you say it's for entertainment anyway, but I have to say the Sharknado films, not good. Mm-hmm. Ghost Shark. Avalanche Shark. I have not seen Sand Shark, but you know, say that. That's what. How many? That 4?
That's like what, 3? Yeah, that's 3. Let it be said that we haven't seen every shark movie out there. So we can't sit there and make a complete list right now. But we're definitely going to be coming back and making another video on this. Another Breaker Debates, if it were. Honestly, though, real talk, as far as my worst ones, again, I haven't seen them all. But the 2 I can sit here and actually say that the 3, that I could say I've seen but didn't really too much care for. Jaws 2, Sand Shark, and Avalanche Sharks. Because the whole Sand Shark, Avalanche Shark, in fact, Sand Shark, Avalanche Shark literally had almost the same premise. Mm-hmm. There was some big event where all these teenagers and stuff came to that happened to be like the only source of money for that area. And then the shark started killing people. And the next thing you know, the sheriff or whoever it is trying to tell the mayor to shut it down. But then he brought up that point, so he wouldn't shut it down.
How did they kill the sand shark?
What I remember one sequence, they like, if you superheat the dirt, it turns to glass. Mm-hmm. That's what they did. And they like encased them. I know that's how they did some of them. They like lured them all in one area, and then they like superheated it, and then they like turned the ground to like a glass like substance and trapped them.
Yeah,
it was so stupid. It was so stupid.
Now there are such things as sand sharks. They swim in water though. They don't swim in sand.
All right, let me ask you this then: when it comes to shark movies, which one do you? Well, it's gonna be 3 categories. Which one would you prefer to see? CGI, practical, or real? Examples. The movie we seen, The Shallows, CGI. What was it? Jaws, practical. You got movies like, I believe, Open Water. Those are real. Mm-hmm. And then you have films like Deep Blue Sea. It was like a balance of both.
Okay.
So, like, what would your preference for a shark movie be?
Well, I'm not gonna like say like practical. Like too practical. Maybe a mix. Can I say mix? Yeah. A mix of CGI and practical. Okay. Like I said, Deep Blue Sea did a pretty good job of. There are some moments the sharks were real, and then some they weren't. Most of the time when they were underwater, they were CGI. But certain moments when they weren't CGI is when they were like above water, like that. That was pretty good balance of it. So in terms of visual effects, when it comes to the shark films, which ones did you think had a pretty good like physical representation, regardless of the CGI, just overall design of the shark?
Yeah, or realism. They had the best realism.
Well, from what I've seen, I probably would have to say The Shallows.
Yeah. Like, is then like what other in the movie, like any shark movie, you said like the visuals look great, like how that shark came out looked great. Mm-hmm. Like I said, when Jaws came out, Jaws was pretty good for its time, and I still say even some of the practical effects.
Well, it's been a minute since I've seen the first Jaws, but yeah,
I'd say probably in terms of physical physical practical effects, Jaws still wins.
Mm-hmm.
It does still. This does look. Look up. It doesn't really hold up to today's standards, but it still looks pretty good considering like the 30 or 40 year gap.
Mm-hmm.
So I say in terms of that, they look good. I'm kind of stuck in the middle between Deep Blue Sea and The Shallows about how the shark looked, because both of them had just terrific effects when it came to the sharks.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit kind of stuck. Now as far as the fiction shark films, I will give it to Avalanche Sharks and Sand Sharks. As much as the visual effects were crappy, honestly, the designs, the creature designs did look pretty cool. Like when we was watching the whole Avalanche Shark, I don't know if you've seen, but the crystalline look to the fins, like that. Even though the whole shark made of ice thing was kind of stupid, but just like certain parts of the design, kind of like the sand sharks, the sharks had like rocks embedded into its fin and skin and stuff like that. Like that looked cool.
Oh, okay.
Even though again the special effects were a bit cheesy. So we came up with our top 5 favorite shark films. Let's go back over one more time. With me, it was again The Shallows, Deep Blue Sea, Jaws, Shark Night, and the Sharknado films. And then what I found to be the worst shark films was pretty much Sand Sharks, Avalanche Sharks, and what was the last one I just thought about? I can't remember what the third one is. But yeah. And you said yours was...
Was my favorite?
Yeah.
Jaws, Deep Blue Sea. What did I say? Open Water, Red Water,
and Shark Night.
Yeah, Shark Night.
Alright. And you said the worst ones would probably be Ghost Shark,
Avalanche Shark, so far, and I did say the Sharknado films.
And, this is I like shark films. I would love to continue to see them, and I think another reason that makes them so terrifying is they're real.
Yeah,
like stuff like sharks are actually real. They're actually terrifying.
It can happen. Some of them.
Yeah, again, like we said in the movie The Shallows, they were surfing. What happened? Shark attacked them.
Yeah.
In the movie Jaws, people were just enjoying their time in the water, regardless if they were just swimming or fishing, and it happened. Sharks really can do this. So I think that's perhaps one of the really defining characteristics of sharks. Mm-hmm. Are there any versus movies that you like with a shark fighting something? I don't know, Mega Shark versus Mecha Shark.
It's been a while since I've seen that.
Because I honestly, I watched the movie Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus. I really wasn't going to speak on it because I haven't seen it in a while. Just certain parts I remember. And to be honest, it was a crappy movie. So it was really a crappy movie. So having said that, is it wrong to make a shark movie like that? Where a shark has to fight another creature? And it's the Asylum made this movie, and the Asylum is just, oh my gosh, they just killed me.
I mean, it depends on if they just made it, or if they wanted it to be like realistic. Like, yeah, this can happen.
You know what? That brings up an interesting point. When it comes to shark movies, honestly, do the shark films have to be realistic? Can they be over the top?
To an extent. You want some sense of realism in a movie.
True. Yes.
Like Jaws. Was he over the top? Yes. But was it still believable? Yes.
Good to always have a third party.
Sharknado? The hell? It's impossible.
Yes.
But the thing, like I said, the only thing I can give Sharknado, as much as I rant and rave on stupid movies, is that movie was not made to be taken seriously.
But they keep making more.
Because it's one of those movies, like, it's just a time waster. If you want to, you can actually sit back and don't drink and just enjoy it. It's stupid, but you just laugh at it. Like, what was one sequence I seen in the third movie where they tried to evacuate the president to the bunker under the White House, and then as soon as they opened the door, 3 sharks came out of the bunker and ate the bodyguards.
Okay, a mega shark versus giant octopus. I think that was a little bit, from the picture, seemed like over the top. A shark gonna jump out of the water so high and eat an airplane?
I think that happened.
In real life.
No, not in the real life, but in the movie. I think that might have happened.
I mean, yeah, it can happen in the movie, but okay, maybe it was a little bit over the top.
Like this, the one part in there that I would like to sit there and bring up is
But it was mega.
the octopus. It had like 8 submarines following the octopus, and then the octopus literally did this. The 8 submarines were like in formation. The octopus arms literally went upside, came up from under them and did like this, and knocked and just scattered them like that. I was like, what? Yeah, I think it did. I think it did eat that plane.
Yeah, it jumped out of the water and swallowed the airplane whole.
That is hilarious. But yeah, I guess when it comes to shark movies, it depends on the tone and what you set in the movie for. We have these mega shark versus mega shark, avalanche sharks and sand sharks. Films like, Sharktopus, films like Three-Headed Shark. Those films were made not to really be taken seriously. They're ridiculous films. But then on the other side, again, we have Jaws. We have The Shallows, Open Water, The Reef, Red Water, Jaws. The Jaws series. We have these types of movies that actually portray sharks in a pretty serious manner. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I guess in the context of should shark movies be taken seriously, it just depends on what the tone that you set for it. Again, as we said, Sharknado is completely over the top and is not to be taken seriously. But then on the other side, you see a movie called The Reef, and it makes you wonder about going out there into the water because something like that can happen.
I mean, anytime it makes, going out there in the water, if it, if sharks are known in that area, or, hey, sometimes they don't got to be known. Because it's like alligators just show up out of nowhere.
So, this has been a pretty interesting topic because sharks are pretty good genre in itself. As we have all these new movies coming out, and I think that we should have a little bit of ridiculousness to kind of counteract the more serious films. Again, the serious films. It's good to have pretty good serious films because it does make you reflect on certain things about your life and about going into the water. Because what was the first thing I said after we started watching when the movie The Shallows came off?
You said you weren't going in the water, the tub, anywhere.
I said I ain't getting in the tub anymore. That was some raw stuff. I honestly could not have done that, what she did in that movie. I honestly couldn't do what half the stuff that people do in the movies. But then again, hey, it is just a movie. But some of that stuff can.
I mean, that movie, she was pretty strong to have done all that.
Yeah. But we're coming to that time, guys. I know it was a ramble, but we had a pretty interesting talk and discussion about shark movies, what we do and don't like, and what we like to see in them, and personal preferences and things that do and don't work for shark movies. So guys, in the comment section below, again, we would like to hear your thoughts about shark movies, whatever they may be. Did you agree with some of our points? Did you disagree with some of them? And in fact, if you would, name us 5 of the best shark movies in your opinion, as well as 5 of the worst. And we definitely will be coming back to this subject and have a second discussion on another edition of Breaking the Baits. So, in closing, guys, this is Narik Chase signing out. Any last words?
No, none.
All right, then, guys. Stay tuned.
Bye.